Welcome in everybody to DW Randomizer, where we have for you tonight Cirno versus EMP Game 3 elimination match. The winner advances to the round of 16. The loser goes home. I'm Dives II. Joining me in the booth this evening is Velu V. We also have Tanuki Monster on the restream and Cirno on the tracking, making all the buttons work. Velu V, what are we looking forward to in tonight's race?
Well, it is winner go home for Cirno and EMP. Both of them have a one win in this best of three bracket phase. So we are in for an exciting game 3. I see that 20 strength there on the field. That means that they will have no trouble fighting most of those Zone 1 monsters. So hopefully we'll see something cool in the treasury, and our runners won't have too hard of a time of it until it gets, like those ironic points that we like to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree that actually it looks like 19 strength. We had a name change or a name update there. So still a lot of strength here to start as the runners get going. Link on the right for EMP. The Dragon Warrior 4 hero on the left for Cirno.
I believe that's the male hero.
Death Necklace key to start, so we have a key start. We'll see what our runners opt to do here. Probably see a quick pirouette in the throne room, and perhaps a check of the treasury. Although with this much strength, it's pretty reasonable to just go outside and start fighting things.
Yeah, or even if there's a town, you might even consider hawking that Death Necklace for your quick key money.
Yeah, very true. It's the opportunity that you know versus the opportunity that you don't know. We have no idea what the HP is going to look like at a particularly reasonable go level. So will the Death Necklace even be reasonable to use? Well, we'll see at least what's in the treasury and if this is going to pay off on that front.
We both did save. We got a stones and a wings so far. Looks like one of those was maybe an herb.
Yeah, top left looks like herb, and we've got gold in the middle. So there is a gold grind available, so I'm sure both runners took note of that. That is one of our quest items as well, so good information. Both of them reset out, though, not entirely surprising. Again, 19 strength, no known town or location outside. So I imagine we're going to see some... Well, it looks like we're going to see a basement check on EMP side, and perhaps a town search quickly for Cirno. Again, 19 strength is not required, but if you can gear up to the maximum immediately, it's a pretty big advantage if you can.
Yeah, Cirno's going to try to take the Scorpion down. He started with a nice strong 4, and that 5 puts it down, so he's going to go ahead and get himself level 2 and 1 experience from level 3 even. Comes with 3 power, 1 response speed, 6 hit points, 8 magics, and the Hurt More spell, so, getting that level, that's kind of important. Although there's no MP until he takes the refill.
You know what? All of a sudden that gold grind and that town search doesn't seem all that important. Now again, as Velu mentioned, only 8 MP here to start, so we've got 1 hurt more to throw out there. And with a decent amount of strength, you don't necessarily need to throw it at something like a Scorpion or a Zone 0 enemy, but we'll see what EMP elects to do since he is also going to now pick up his hurt more spell.
And meanwhile, we've got level 3 on Cirno's side. Grabs 6 power, 13 response speed, 1 hit point out of that. No magic, no new spells. So still just 1 cast of that hurt more. And yeah, he's trying to find, maybe a nice little Axe Knight or a Knight. Maybe not an Axe Knight. Something too strong and they will back attack you, right? So you want something like a Wolf Lord or a... No, you fight those skeletons. Oh, no, he's going to hurt more it.
It's the safest way to get that 25 XP. Guarantees level 4, no silly shenanigans for DL2 Breath or Hurt More, so we'll take it. 5 strength, 8 agility, 6 HP, only 1 MP, still just nursing that single Hurt More.
And there's the Werewolf. Werewolf with Hurt, not bad. Out of magic on Cirno's side. We did see EMP also took down a skeleton.
Yep, he'll be just a little bit behind on the XP here because he did check the basement. Incidentally, that was Swamp South, so and EMP did reset out of utilizing that key as well. Did not attempt even to get through Swamp Cave, just said, I don't want to deal with this.
And Cirno taking a very long death warp, longer than you'd expect out of a werewolf, but that hurt spell really let him drag it out, which is good news for later when you've got, extra hurt mores to be thrown at those guys.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting enemy, especially knowing that it has hurt there, because You're likely, but not guaranteed to one-shot it with Hurt More, but the attack power and the lack of weapon means you're going to be hitting it for 0 to 1. So you really have to hope, if you're going to try to take that down with Hurt More, that you roll high and he happens to roll low, because you're really not going to be able to sustain anywhere in that fight to plink him down after the fact.
EMP catching a level off of a ghost, I think it was. And so now we have
Smart.
level parity.
It's an easy pickup, even though it's not the type of enemy that you typically want to fight with Hurt More. But it does get him to level, gets more information. You never know what you're going to see here.
Cirno takes down a gold man, which is going to give him that key money. So I think he's going to go back and stock up on those keys, and he'll find out about the basement there.
Now he'll be at level 4, so a little bit more agility, perhaps an opportunity to go through Swamp Cave. Maybe we'll see, now that we have Hurt More knowledge as well, maybe we'll see a spike tile check.
Yeah, a green dragon or an axe knight on there would be fantastic.
Yep, still have the problem of ambushes and, I mean, 1 Hurt More. But it certainly would be worth at least the knowledge.
I mean, 1's all you need when you're level 4. As long as you don't get that back attack. It's like Cirno stocking up. Oh, he's gonna go raid the treasury first. Why is he not going down there?
I mean, yeah, you can pick up the stones here really kind of at any point. I mean, the extra gold, I suppose, is worthwhile. We're not going to get a grind here.
He doesn't know about the basement, so, you know, perhaps a speculative, you know, if it happened to be the mountain or the grave or something. EMP fighting slimes.
I'm really trying to find some of those mid-game enemies here. He must have seen something that he likes. That would be one of the things that you'd like. There's a wyvern. Perfect Hurt More enemy. Just, it's the balance between an enemy that is worth a decent bit and can definitely be taken out by a single Hurt More without nearly as much chance to be ambushed as some of those bigger enemies.
Exactly. Like, the early Hurt More can backfire if there's nothing but Charlock around. Alright, Cirno launches his at a rogue scorpion, and also a nice target for a Hurt More. Grabs level 5. EMP had level 5 earlier off of that wyvern. I didn't quite catch its stats. Came with 17 magic, though. Hurt and heal more. Alright.
Yeah, so we've now got a little bit of MP to work with. Still not a lot, but we also have a little bit of that extra sustainability with the heal more spell. It's not going to do a whole lot with only 37 max HP, but it's worth at least having.
I don't think you're Hurt Moring down red dragons, that's for sure.
Probably not, especially not when it's ambushing you for a decent bit of HP more than you possibly could have.
Alright, but Cirno now has 5 Hurt Mores in the bank, when before he only had 1, so he's probably not too horribly upset about the refill there.
Yeah, plus he did see the Rose Scorpion down here in the Swamp Cave. Potentially just walk across, fight what you fight along the way. Maybe go into Garenham and find something fun, or who knows.
Exactly. The door's still open. You don't lose anything going right back on in and seeing what else is there. And heck, there's Magiwyverns and Rogue Scorpions down here to throw your Hurtmores at.
Yeah, those are 2 fantastic enemies. And again, we don't love the brick tiles at 1 and 16 for encounter rate, but with this enemy set this early, perfect.
And this Magiwyvern gives a little back attack, but he's able to tank it. Pop another Hurtmore, and it goes down.
Yeah, a little bit of agility, a little bit of MP there at level 6. Not a lot, but something to work with. It prevents a few more back attacks or perhaps run fails. Another Hurtmore to lob out at something. Leverage the herb there to stay alive against that Magiwyvern, which is also kind of nice.
We're through the swamp. Nothing immediately available. It's not the back of Garenham, so Cirno just nopes right back on into that swamp. He wants more things to fight.
Unfortunately, another ambush, so he's not going to get to take on another Rogue Scorpion.
One experience. Isn't it 300? No, it's not 300. It's 317. Never mind. I was about to give the old, you should have fought that blue slime speech, but never mind.
Oh, we'll get it soon enough here. Another Rogue Scorpion or another Magiwyvern. It looks like EMP has found that same zone, and he seems to be content to hang out here as well. Looks like he'll give a check of the spike tile. Oh, there's Druid Lords too? Man, I might live here for the next couple levels.
Yeah, pretty much everything great for a mid Hurtmore seed. Mid level, that is.
3051. So again, not much help there. A tiny bit of extra survivability, but not against a 46 from a red dragon. So EMP gets the bad news about the spike tile, but I imagine he will head straight back. The levels are close enough still that these mid-game enemies, even with the slightly suboptimal encounter rate, this is just too good of an opportunity to pass up to pick up another level or two.
Exactly. Looks like we found our first dud in the Demon Knight there. Cirno gets away from it, though. There's a Druid Lord. Goldman kind of a dud as well, unless you wanted some of that money. If you knew there was a town nearby, you might get yourself a broadsword out of it or something.
Yeah, just as an incidental pickup, and we know that we have the gold grind available in the treasury at any point, and even if you don't true gold grind, you could just walk in and grab a few bucks if necessary.
All right, EMP dips out, does a few more steps than Cirno did, and then goes right back in.
Very similar approach to the seed, it seems. And not surprising. I mean, you walk out, at least you want to get the knowledge that, again, it's not Garenham immediately out there, that it's got the armor or the sword or something else that's critical right nearby. Or, again, maybe Hawksness that has a really great grind in it that would be even better than this. So it's a good thing to just poke your head out and at least see. But we didn't see a whole lot.
But we are going to see level 8 here. That's got 3 power, 3 response speed, 10 hit points, an outside spell. Our runners continue with their groundhog approach. 6 more weeks of winter.
Man, I thought this was the summer tournament. Did we really flip that quickly? Or are we just, is this just a Southern Hemisphere thing? Might be that one.
We'll find out whether the Dragon Lord starts casting Sleep and Hurt more or not.
All right, both seem to be just looping back into the Swamp Cave, so not a whole lot to say here until we see another new level. EMP is going to hit, well, not quite with this Rogue Scorpion, but very shortly we'll hit level 8 to join Cirno. And just recapping, so EMP took race number 1 between these two, and a really fairly long and kind of sloggy seed, nearly a 2-hour win time for EMP in race 1, and then Cirno came back in race 2. I believe it was a quad race covered the other night. So is evened it up. So Cirno certainly shown the ability, was last year's runner-up. So has the ability certainly and the wherewithal to deal with these kind of clutch situations needing to absolutely get a win. EMP, a little bit less so, but again, still has played very solidly so far.
Yep. And now EMP is sticking to that grind. Cirno has decided to go and see a little bit more outside the swamp cave. Maybe there's a town around here, and perhaps just, you know, zero off that dead end so he knows he doesn't have to come back to this side. He's off on the east side right now. I think there was some stuff off to the west as well, maybe.
Yeah, eastern edge of the map, if nothing else, it's a little bit of a landmark. We really have seen very little of what is actually on the Prime Continent around Tanthagel. Again, still a lot of nothing here. I think he did cross a bridge to the east, so it looks like that area across that river to the west is still accessible, but yeah, not a whole lot here.
Yeah, I think that just across that river is the area to the west I was talking about. I think that, yeah, you can dip down south from the cave there to get to it. And Red Dragon says no to EMP. He must be out of magic. Yeah, why would you be fighting Red Dragon unless you wanted a quick walk home?
I mean, we usually think about and talk about using spike tiles for grinding, but I guess for quick refills it works too.
Grinding, just a different part of the grind. Cirno found the dreaded Poltergeist and Drakies, not great monsters on this side of the swamp. EMP probably going to get level 9 here in just a moment. I didn't quite catch his XP, but it's got to be close. Yeah, this monster will do it, I think. 9, no, not quite. He needs 100.
So a little bit of a divergence. We've got about a 150 XP lead here now for EMP. He's certainly going to hit level 9 before Cirno will. Cirno pressing the exploration. Again, it just hasn't paid off so far, but we certainly know in these seeds, having that extra information versus having a little bit of extra XP just depends on what the seed does to see if we're going to have a benefit to one or the other.
Looks like 4, 5, 12 for EMP. I didn't quite catch what those 4, 5, 12s were on, but not the greatest of levels. Decent, I guess. Cirno is in the grave. He found an Axe Knight. And a werewolf.
Both pretty good enemies. Unfortunately, again, not a lot of attack power here. Probably going to have to hurt more. Okay, he elects to go hurt more, double hurt more. He could have used hurt, but again, he's out of MP, so there really wasn't a whole lot of benefit to casting hurt there.
Yeah, he doesn't even have the heal
doing
spell.
enough damage.
I was gonna say he didn't even have the heal spell to, like, you know, maybe use the other half of that 3 points. And Axe Knight's gonna stop him from checking any checks, but you know, the monsters that he fought there put him back into it with experience. He's just back by another 100 points or so now. And that looks like EMP's going to do the same exploration.
Yeah, literally the exact same pathing here, just a few seconds later. And again, Cirno, again, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes right back. I mean, it's a known 3 chests. We know that the zone, he may elect to just cast outside here to get through Swamp Cave, but we know that even if he chooses to walk through, it's a decent bit of enemies. Swamp Cave, or Grave, seems to have some pretty decent enemies, at least there on the top floor as well, so I don't see any reason not to just chase that down immediately.
Yeah, when he went into the grave, he only had maybe 15 magic points on him. Now that he's got the full, or most anyways, of his MP, yeah, I'd go back in there and try to fight some more Axe Knights. Or Spectres, I guess.
Every little bit helps. Again, when you got hurt more, you probably want something a little bit bigger since we now can survive a little bit more. Golem is a little bit more than that. 52.
That's a mighty strong golem there, and then all of a sudden we're down to 26 MP again.
So we got some prime continent exploration for EMP. I believe this is southeast of start. After he took a death warp, was out of resources on that second continent. Didn't get to explore far enough to see the grave, as Cirno did. Classic Wraith Knight hurt more miss, you know, it's only 81% to hit, so naturally, half the time you miss.
Naturally. Is this the same grave? No, it's not. Okay. It's the tablet.
Quick in and out on this one. No encounters down here. 1 treasure chest. He does have outside for a quick exit.
So Cirno practically back to the grave again, but again with practically no MP. He's got 11 magic points, so 2 casts of the hurt more. He's going to try to make it to those chests again.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I mean, you see that wolf lord right outside, and it's like, ah, that's a really good enemy, but I guess we'll just pass.
He was not able to get the werewolf down in a single shot and decides to run from it.
EMP did finish clearing Tablet Cave. Fairy Water, not helpful now. Might have been helpful at like level 1, but not so much since we got hurt more. And just to the east of Tablet Cave is Hawk's Nest. This could be another big find. The zone seems pretty garbo, but if we have a good spike tile enemy here on one hand, or potentially also guarding something important.
We did have a sword
Knight
in chest 2 of the grave. Winged sword, and I'm guessing that other one was a key because it was empty. I don't think he has full herbs yet, but the sword is a nice get. It means those werewolves, you can cast a hurt more and swing on them now.
Yeah, that definitely makes a big difference. You wouldn't think that it would in a seed like this with the early hurt more, but it definitely makes a difference when you have the opportunity to not have to double hurt more, or hurt more hurt, or throw a torch or a fairy water or something. And even some of the mid-game enemies, now that Wolf Lord that he saw earlier on Cirno's side, take 2 swings at it. It's done. You don't need to waste a hurt more on it.
I think there's 1 experience point between the two. 1326 v 1327. Oh, skeleton ruined it. But for a moment, we were a 1 XP cap.
EMP discovered Armored Knight on the trap tile. Unfortunately, he was a little bit low on the HP and got ambushed as well, so no dice there. Is going to try to head right back, but Werewolf, he was not fully healed, so Werewolf is going to take him out. Again, you're kind of in that tough spot. Heal more is not nearly as MP as efficient as heal would be at this current level. And with not a huge MP pool, you want to try to save it to actually get to the spike tile, and not so much.
Oh, looks like we found coal and a cave. Cherno's going to check that the shop before he checks the check, just to see what's here. He does grab a chainmail, perhaps trying to glitch in the armor. Usually when you buy a piece, you find the piece to completely negate your purchase. Get the token. Erdrick's Troll.
It's still needed. We'll take it. Not as fun, but still not too bad.
And we found our Jerk. So Jerk Cave right here hanging out next to Cole.
Fairly close to home, so really shouldn't create too many routing questions or concerns later on.
Alright, so Cherno's found some rogue scorpions in the mountains here next to Cole, which is kind of nice because he can just pop back in and get his magic points back. And that'll take him to level 10. 1 power, 2 response speed, 0 hit points, radiant stop spell. It also means 0 magic points. It means that sword's going to continue to pay dividends as, you know, he'll be able to swing on some monsters. Not these rogue scorpions, but some monsters.
And EMP right behind again, just a couple seconds between the two. You're only going to be... he elects not to hurt more the Wraith Knight. Probably a smart play since he's going after the Armored Knight. Although another Rogue Scorpion... These are so tough to pass up. I know that you want the information. I know that you want the opportunity for the 172. But... just take another trip back. It's not that far.
Alright, looks like we found the south of the map and another dead end here on Cirno's side. And yeah, he's going to dip in for a quick refill. Axe Knights, good thing for EMP to find. What town was that? Was that Hawksness there?
Yeah, that was Hawksness again. I think he was really trying to conserve the MP to try to get back in there, but I think this is the right play. Burn the MP, take the XP, because again, he's still in a situation with only 57 HP and basically no defense. If you get ambushed by that Armor Knight, you're going to die again anyway, so you might as well... Oh. Wait. This is the grave. 1 continent?
It is 1 continent, I believe, because I'm pretty sure EMP was searching, you know, from the castle. So there's a wing.
Very interesting.
There's his sword. And empty as well. So again, I think those are keys. Those empty ones.
Blue Dragon with Hurtmore on Cirno's side was unable to get away and is taken out. EMP was out of resources, so no problem with the Death Warp here. He has not seen Cole, I don't believe, so he does not know what is available. He has the opportunity to set up a gold grind here, but again, 57 HP, no defense. It would be a speculative play, but looks like he's going to go for it.
Sometimes you gotta speculate. If he has a sword, we'll see if he goes for both armor and shield.
Yeah, it's kind of a question mark, like how much do you go for here? I mean, you only need, what, about 4,000 to pick up your full plate and large shield if you only want to go up that high. If you want to play for a magic armor or silver shield that you don't know exists, you need about 22,500 or about 23,000. Do you overgrind in case you die? I mean, there's really a number of different ways to play this. You've got Hurtmore and you've got the sword now, so most things are okay to fight, just not a lot of things that you're going to be able to run from.
Yeah, and we haven't seen anything horrible in terms of, like, big stuff with sleep yet, so it seems like you should be able to make it somewhere. The problem is he doesn't know where it is that he needs to make it to.
Looks like he's going to go all the way as well. We'll see how much, if at all, he overgrinds. Like, I could conceive of a situation here where you grind to like 30k, so even if you die, you still have Silver Shield money. But if you only want to go to 22.5 or 23, and it looks like he's going to overgrind a bit here, so maybe he's thinking that double Silver Shield money.
Cirno over here has found the mountain cave off some wayward path. He was clearing out what looked to be dead ends and found it over here. It was over a couple of bridges.
Little bit light on the resources. He only has 1 hurt more or heal more left here. 4 more chests downstairs. Torch in chest 1.
Druin as treasure guard on chest 2. A little bit of fairy water. Yeah, I guess the double silver shield gold, that lets you, if you die, it lets you get magic armor, and then if you die, you still afford a silver shield, right?
Yeah, curiously, he didn't quite get that much. He went to 28,000, which is a little short. He'd have to go to 29.6 to be able to do that. But, I mean, it's not like you're not going to gain more money in the process. But at that point, if you're going to grind, it's like another 8 seconds to pick up another 3 treasure chests real quick. He did save.
3 and 4 did have our harp and our dragon scale. We have not seen our harp trade in cave yet. But that's the last of the things that Cirno has to find in terms of key items. Of course, that armor's still out there.
Yeah, we're really starting to narrow the field of where things can be and whatnot here. Of course, sword and armor can be anywhere. It's only the key quest items that have to be somewhere outside of Charlock. So we still could be dealing with a armor in Charlock situation. Things that we haven't seen yet. I don't think we've seen the freebie cave. We've not seen Garenham, so there's 3 chests there, and then the chest in Rim, plus the possibility of coordinates.
And I don't think we saw under Hawksness. Did EMP fight the Hawksness monster?
That's true. He fought it, but he didn't win. So we'll see if he ends up going back there soon. Obviously, after the gold grind, he wasn't going to do that immediately, but I'm sure we'll probably see him back there in short order.
He's taking care of some Axe Knights. He probably will have that double silver shield money in just a moment. And maybe that's what he was thinking. Like, if I'm dying, it means I'm fighting stuff, so I'll pick up some gold along the way. Ooh, Stone Man, not a good thing to see. Gets away on the second run, though. He's safe. His money is safe.
Yeah, he's just in kind of a tough spot. He doesn't have return. I think he does have wings. There should be a set of wings in his inventory if he wants to just bail and try to maintain the cash.
Can you wings in a fight?
No. Unfortunately not. That would be funny.
I swear I've seen that in some Dragon Quest game. I know that the monsters can do it in Dragon Quest IV.
EMP living on the edge here, runs from the golem with 18 HP. He's going to cast his last heal more. Again, he does have wings. I did confirm that on his last check. He's looking for a town. And I think he should realize now that this is one continent. Because this is the bridge that he went across a bit earlier, and further to the north is where Swamp North is.
And we know that there's nothing in this direction in terms of towns. At least, you know what I mean, like the whole swamp area there, all the way down to the grave. There didn't seem to be anything as when Cirno went to find all that. Ooh, and he gets taken down by a Magiwyvern. Speaking of Cirno.
Yeah, he was really trying to take a Death Warp out of Mountain Cave, and it just was not happening. He finally had to go back upstairs and Dragon Scale that Magiwyvern to get the Death Warp. Looks like he's probably going to do a gold grind here as well. Now, he actually has seen a town where he can buy stuff. So he knows that he has at least, I think we saw magic armor perhaps in Cole. I don't think we saw a silver shield. And EMP did wing home, so he does maintain the cash, so no surprises there, but still no town.
Still no town, and also where he stopped, I don't know whether he was able to establish the single continent-ness of it, just in terms of knowledge that might be in his head.
He definitely overlapped with an area that he'd already been. It's just whether he recognized that landmass, because really, he went across that bridge already, so he should know. But again, it's so difficult. The map is... There's not that many different types of tiles, so a lot of things can look very similar and not be overlapping, and vice versa.
Looks like right now he just wants to fight in this desert. We got werewolves in here. As Cirno makes his way back to coal. Spend some of that money he golded up. He grinded up.
Yeah, you only got 4K, so maybe it was full plate, not magic armor here. Yep, full plate. Doesn't need the broadsword, already got Erdrix. So full plate upgrade, an extra 14 defense for Cirno.
Not even sure if shields exist.
Not in coal anyway, but we don't even know if coal exists. Well, I guess we're there, so maybe it does, but...
Maybe. We live in a post-truth society, so, you know, you could be looking at it and still question whether it exists or not.
It's probably just AI generated. I don't think it's real. So EMP, it looked like he may have been going after the Armored Knight in Hawksness. He fought a bunch of stuff on the way and then is elected to wing back again, re-heal after picking up level 11. Ah, man, really holding onto this gold is kind of causing him to slow down here and re-go back and forth here. I don't love it, but it's tough. You really want to leverage that cash if you spent the time investing in it.
Yeah, I think the only real benefit is that Cirno also really hasn't found a whole lot outside. Now, the fact that he's found the mountain cave and all of that, I mean, but during the time that EMP's been searching, Cirno's also kind of been walking around and not finding much either. And their XP, at least, is fairly balanced between the two. But as I say that, Cirno finds Hawksness, and he should be able to take down this Armored Knight. Back attack's no good.
Yeah, he's gonna have to play for a low physical here against the Armored Knight, or it has stop spell, but he got his spell blocked, so that's no good. Redo it.
It looks like EMP has found his token and his coal, so he should find the mountain shortly after as well, right? The jerk was here, and I think it was just around this general area. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, Rainbow Drop
Perhaps
Cave
that was
is
a different job.
Yeah, Rainbow Drop Cave is on screen for him, so he'll see it.
And there's the armor.
Oh, well, there you go. You know what? It made perfect sense. There was just a little bit of time in between, or a little bit of distance. You bought the full plate, you get the armor.
Exactly.
Probably not dissimilar to what's going to happen to EMP here if he goes back to Hawksness.
Yeah, and armor and Hawksness, certainly not randomized at all. They just recolored the knight guarding him.
Well, that is all the required things at this point then. Sword armor and all 3 quest items. Only Cirno has all of them. Of course, EMP, I mean, he knows where Hawksness is, so he should be able to pick up his armor. He just needs to find the mountain cave, and then they both need to find Sharlock, which we've not seen yet, and the staff traded.
Yeah, staff Kraden is still outstanding. I think it has to be behind Garenham at this point, right? Haven't we seen all the other types of caves out there?
I don't think we've seen Freebie Cave yet, so that would be the other possibility.
Gotcha. Sure what Cirno's doing here with this rogue scorpion, but it looks like it turns out they had sleep.
Yeah, I think he tried to swing through it, try to preserve a little bit of MPs down to just, he had 10 MPs, so wanted to save a little bit, but yeah, it turns out the rogue scorpions were a little bit more dangerous than perhaps we gave them credit for.
Alright, so he's gonna dip down here, and this is, oh, that's our tablet. Doesn't need anything from there, so he nopes right on out of it.
Alright, EMP took a death, so he lost half his cash. He still is fairly close. He's about 2,000 short of Silver Shield money, again, if he ever finds a town that has one. But it looks like he's headed back in the direction of Hawksness, which is absolutely where he should be going. So we'll see if he can pick up his armor here in short order. Cirno back toward Mountain Cave. I'm not sure if he didn't realize he'd already been there.
I think he's really looking for that Garenham slash trade-in cave and is doing a little bit of backtracking. maybe he wasn't sure if he had dead-ended that or not.
It's possible that you couldn't quite see the edge where it dead-ended to the east. Ooh, wizards also would sleep. Not ideal. And he's out of MP anyway, so it's not the end of the world if you take a death warp. Maybe pick a new path.
Yeah, I mean, he's walked quite a long distance, and I don't think there was a whole lot of branches up to the north, so definitely probably a blessing here if it can send him home. Oh, but it doesn't.
All right, well, EMP did not head back to Hoxus. I thought he was, but he ended up in the mountain cave, which is, again, it's not that far, but this is critical for him. He does need to get in here anyway. This will give him his silver harp. That is the last thing that's going to be required for him that we know about, but he absolutely needs to head back into Hoxness ASAP. That armor just makes it so much easier to walk around on the overworld.
And we are back to the castle on Cirno side, so he made a big long walk, and he'll have to talk to the magic man. Fairy water wearing off. So which direction do you decide to go this time? I feel like west, maybe?
I was about to say, I don't think we've really explored to the west almost at all. Again, everything, that second continent connection is all to the southeast, and then it looks like Cold, Drop Cave, and Mountain Cave are all pretty much straight south. So I don't think we've really gone to the west. There's probably at least half of the map still to explore. There's really only like 2 locations, well, 3 if you include Charlock, that we're looking for at this point.
And Cirno, I think, is thinking second continent. We know that it's 1. He hasn't quite established that yet. So this, I don't think, is putting him anywhere new. From what our overview is, like, I think EMP has kind of shown that this doesn't. But perhaps, maybe if he follows this north coast, it'll get him there.
All right, EMP has gotten his silver harp. He donned his dragon scale and fully cleared a mountain cave, so he should be outsiding out. And he doesn't have return, so we can't head home. We'll see if he again tries to maintain his cache. He does not have any more wings, I don't think, so it's going to be a little bit of a walk back to Cole if he tries to do that.
Quite the walk indeed. He burns that last heal more there. Cirno trying to get through these wizards. They've got sleep and hurt, so it's just a long, drawn-out fight.
Yeah, the sleep is a lot less scary. One, when you've got the armor, so you're not taking nearly as much damage, and that hurt on top of it. So electing to just swing through, I think that makes total sense. We'll give him also level 12.
Yeah. $119.18, so some welcome hit points and magic points, but the strength not quite where they want it to be. And we find Charlock. So I guess going through the cave kind of puts you in the right place for finding something.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how this connects back to the starting area. It looks like this is sort of a branch that was like south and then west of Swamp Cave, which should be fairly close to like just maybe north of Tanthagil. So I'm not sure if you could get here from just going north of Tanthagil, but regardless, he does find Breckenary, makes a quick Brexit. Nothing there that we need. Perhaps, again, a shield might be interesting to look for, but he does have the money for a large shield if he wanted to look.
Yeah, you know, Breckenary in the middle of a swamp, right where it belongs. Might clear off this corner here. He is starting to get low on the magic points. I wouldn't be surprised if when he walks by it again, he stops in to refill. EMP, this Wraith Knight's gonna send him home, and there goes the gold, and we are now out of Silver Shield territory.
Cirno is going to go for the refill. He will check the shop and discover a small shield that he elects to not purchase. Curious.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Shields seem to be in high demand here, but we haven't seen Cantillon yet either, right? So it could very well, you know, there's lots of shops still to find.
Yeah, Rim is still out there outstanding, I believe, as well. So there's another check to make, but also another shop. Still, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm kind of famous for also issuing the small shield, but if you have the opportunity to pick it up, you never know that you're going to actually get. And since he hasn't done a gold grind, it doesn't mean he can't, but he's already cleared both locations where you would set one up. They're not far from home, but I don't know that this late in the seed that I would make a dedicated attempt to do so.
I don't think so. Axe Knight? Okay. We've got a
Alright, we got a
cave.
cave. 50-50. Nope.
He doesn't even want to see what's in there.
Not even gonna look for the flute. Okay, no look for the fighter's ring. Again, it only saves a few seconds, but I might just check it because it's free.
I want to know what's in it. Go back, Cirno. Go back inside. Bad, Cirno. Bad. Alright, EMP is going to make his Hawksmith attempt.
It's taken him a long time to get back here. He should be fine to get through this Armored Knight, barring a missed hurt more. Or a stop spell landing, which it does. Of course it does.
He's able to swing through it, though. Gets his armor and gets going.
One thing I will say, all that trying to hold on to the cache for EMP really has put a little bit of a damper on both his exploration and just his timing and his fighting of things. So Cirno has the exploration lead, even though they have the same stuff at this point, but he also now has opened up 1,000-point XP lead, so it may just come down to who's able to locate that staff trade-in first. Potentially, I guess, if you find Caitlin, I don't know why you would seek out the flute, but I guess you could. So we're just going to see, although 50-50 again on Cirno's side, Caitlin versus Rim.
Versus Garenham, right? I think back of Garenham is now established as our place, eh?
I forgot about that, yeah. Gosh, we went a long way without seeing the towns. So it was a 1 in 3, but it was not the town that we were looking for.
Nope, he gets out of that, fights this wizard here. He's got I'm pretty sure that Garenham is, that's all that's left in terms of where our, I don't think there's any more cave locations.
Yeah, just I think you're correct. Back of Garenham has to be, at this point, the staff trade-in, so we are looking for Garenham for sure. I'm a little surprised that Cirno didn't pop in and at least check for a shield.
And he might do that now.
Ask and you shall receive.
Probably also for the refill. I see a large shield there. I thought I saw a large shield there.
Silver shield, which he can't quite afford.
Silver shield's pretty large.
That's true. It's also very pricey. Turns out sterling is a little bit more expensive than iron. Silver shields abound in Cantlin. I suppose it is the vanilla location to buy one.
But no small shield, I don't think. Was there a small shield in the top shop?
I don't think there was. I think it went straight to silver, so unfortunately that small shield skip earlier could come back. Again, it's not the end of the world. It's one of those things where it's helpful if you can repel an extra enemy or two. It's not really changing the damage calculation a lot, especially when you start talking about Charlock enemies. And with the agility being such as it is, it's really not making much difference on the repels either.
Back to the exploration on both screens. We've got Charlock sighted on EMP, which means they're about to do a virtual high five on that river there.
I was going to say, they just about crossed over the bridge at the same time. It looks like EMP came at it from the southeast. I think originally Cirno came from the northeast. Unfortunately, EMP, if he had just kept going west, well, it's still not Garenham. It's Rim. We are down to one town, and it's the one we need.
No large shield here either. So Cirno gonna get right on out of there. EMP's gonna find his cave. Are we gonna find out what's in it? We are!
He thought about leaving. I saw that menu, EMP.
It's money. Just money.
Again, if he didn't take that death and he were closer to like 12 something, I might consider popping in a couple times just to make sure. Because I know you. There has to be multiple towns that are out there, and they can't be that far away at this point. So, speaking of, Cirno, at long last, has found the town of Garenham. Do you have a shield, perhaps? No! Why would they?
No shield. Silver and small. That's it. And if you want a small shield, you gotta go to Breckenary. Back to the chest here. We've got gold. We've got a torch. Got a magic key, so got his key back. I think he's looking for the fighter's ring back here. Can't imagine he wants the fairy flute. Alright, so with Silver Harp traded in for Staff of Rain, Cirno just needs to pop back out. He knows where the Rainbow Drop Cave is, so I'm sure he'll do that. They don't know return yet, so he's got to use his wing.
It's actually kind of nice that he still had that one set of wings in the inventory. He didn't have to go out and try to seek a Death Warp somewhere, or I guess try to get level 13 for the 1 in 4 chance of return. So that's a little bit of help for him. Really, EMP, if he's going to get back into this, he needs to get down there to Garenham ASAP.
He's going to find the bad news that the Silver Shield was here all along.
Yeah, especially since he held out of that money for so long and just wasn't able to convert. It's going to feel really bad. XP gap had narrowed a tiny bit to about 500, just with Cirno doing a little bit of homework and checking some things, but unfortunately EMP, by going north across that bridge, that little high five that we saw earlier, is going to cost him the opportunity to really tie things back up.
Cirno looks like took level 13. I didn't quite catch the stats, but it looks like it came with a hefty chunk of hit points.
Yeah, the hit points here make a massive difference. Gives some interesting opportunities to see what he wants to do for a possible grind.
Looks like he's happy to fight some Golem here. Golem's worth 350 experience points. Looks like all he's doing is a little bit of punchy. So you keep the heal mores up, and it's basically like a Dragon Lord fight.
He's going to do his Rainbow Drop turn-in, so he is fully grind and go at this point. He knows where Sharlock is. So it'll be interesting to see what he elects to do grind-wise. So obviously we had the Armored Knight, which without that extra HP boost, that might have been a reasonable target. I mean, double hurt more is not great. You can try with 101 AP to hurt more attack. Probably more often than not, you're going to have to attack twice, take a lot of damage. But he has the opportunity now, if he chooses to go for the red dragons that are in the basement. That's going to be quick refills. You got some decent hurt more targets along the walk if he keeps repel off. So, then again, you got these golems right here. If the game's going to give you XP, why not?
Yeah, I think if you can fight golems, you can probably fight red dragons. So, yeah, I would. I'm not going to turn down a bonus golem on the walk home, but it looks like Cirno is walking in the direction of home. So I think that the red dragons are definitely on the menu tonight.
EMP is still just backtracking in Cirno's footsteps, a few minutes behind. And again, unfortunately, that XP gap is just going to continue to widen now, back over 1,000 to about 1,300. Red dragon encounter on the overworld for Cirno is going to increase that even more. EMP is fairly close to Garenham, so he should be able to get that secured quite quickly. But it's really going to depend what he's able to do here on the grind.
Chat noting EMP is checking all the shops. I think he's also looking for the large shield, even though he's not got the silver money anymore. So he'll come to the same conclusion that we did, that there isn't one. He does find Breckenary, though, or rather, Cantlin. Or what is this town? Garenham.
It's a town. It counts.
He found Cantlin earlier, so that counts too, I guess.
So no sighting of the fighter's ring or the flute. We did not get a coordinates check. I don't think we've seen any cursed belts in this seed either. So we have no idea, although it's probably erring on the side of more likely that the flute is not going to be on coordinates, just because that would mean that there are 3 cursed belts in Sharlock or the basement to the grave. Speaking of which, that's where our fighter's ring would have to be, since we've checked everything else.
Yep, and I think, well, I don't know if you go for that fighter's ring. I guess it depends on how close the level is, right? I think typically you don't, unless it just happens to be, like, means I don't have to grind another level.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those really tough situations where it's like, it's borderline, the extra 2 attack power makes a difference, but yeah, that's just a really... It's going to have to be a very specific set of numbers, I think, for that to really be in play.
That said, with HP and MP where it's at, and strength where it is, it's very possible that we're at everything but strength being go. We'll see what happens as Cirno sits down for these red dragons. In fact, this red dragon here will get him level 14.
Interesting. EMP backtracked after picking up... Oh, okay, here's what he's doing. I was going to say, he backtracked up to Cantland. He's going to buy some wings here. That'll get him back home once he sells some junk out of his inventory, of course, because why would you have room in your inventory for something that you need? Got to carry those torches.
And I lied when I said that red dragon would get him. Thing. Don't make me do math. This one will, though. And those levels should come quick, because we're fighting red dragons.
Yeah, again, just keeping watch on that EXP gap here now. Over 2,000, and it's going to increase a little bit more by the time EMP gets home, walks down to the drop cave. And did he only pick up 1 set of wings there? He's going to have to walk it back, which is not ideal either.
Gotta love playing your Chapter 3 strats, loading up on wings so that you don't have to walk anywhere.
And it looks like he's actually not...
18. Big
Wow.
powers.
Big MP too, oh boy. That changes the math pretty considerably, pretty quickly. All of a sudden, you gotta check this out. It's like, wait a minute. I went from nowhere near to maybe?
Yeah, you're still not quite there yet. If there were more hit points and you could put on a death necklace, you might still be in that close, but yeah, not quite. I like 132 attack power. I'll go with less, but like usually even the other stats, once I have 132 attack power, I feel like I should be going.
Yeah, it's just one of those, if the math works out, then you go with it. If it doesn't work out, then you don't. EMP, I thought he was maybe going to head over to Hawksness to try to grind and maybe do that before, but it looks like he just got a little bit turned around. He actually went down the branch a little bit further to the southeast that had Mountain Cave. If he had gone straight south pretty much from start, that's where the drop cave is. We'll see if he backtracks in that direction.
$7,500 is the magic number for level 15.
And he corrects his mistake, finds his drop cave, gonna get that rainbow drop, so he'll now be in grind and go. Again, that deficit is now nearly 3,000 experience points, and it is only going to continue to increase until he gets to that red dragon spike.
Looks like EMP realized he needed more wings, so he's going to the dreaded coal shop. Let's see if this green man blocks him in. It's like he's safe. No trolling by the green man today. I think he noticed that Link was wearing green as well, and he's like, hey, we got the same color of clothes. I won't block you into the shop today.
Interesting, he bought the wings but didn't use them, so I guess perhaps this is fairly close to home. He's potentially banking on go level coming before return does and just having that as safety. Not a bad idea. I probably would have just bought them in Cantland since you dumped part of your inventory already anyway. Looks like he's going to head for the red dragon as well. So he should be joining Cirno here, and we'll get an exact picture of exactly what the EXP gap is going to be. It's going to be a little over 3,000. That's going to be pretty tough to overcome unless EMP goes at a significantly, like, perhaps riskier, but, you know, borderline enough level that he feels like he needs to go. But I think if they go to the same level, it comes down to Sharlock.
Yep, so 2 more red dragons. Well, 1.5, because this one's half dead already. And we'll find out whether 15 is the level or not. Now, in terms of Sharlock monsters that could potentially be bad, I mean, nobody's shown us anything bad for a moveset. I guess the sleepy, herdy wizards aren't going to send you home, but they might waste your time. We haven't seen blue dragons yet, so we don't know what they have. Was there anything bad on the stone man?
I don't think we saw anything on the Snowman. We did see one blue dragon. I think Cirno saw one fairly early, and it does have hurt more, but again, that's not that big of a deal with Erdrick's armor. As Cirno picks up 15, is 15 go? 1, 3, 5, 4.
It in fact was not go.
Yeah, that almost literally does not change the math in any really meaningful way. 1 extra attack power really doesn't change the math on that front. HP is not in Death Necklace range, and that is not enough for an extra heal more, so I think the road to 16 has begun.
The road to 16 is paved with the scales of red dragons. $16 comes at 9,750 experience points.
All right, EMP gets level 13, gets the big HP boost. That's going to make these red dragon fights significantly easier to take from here on, so he will be able to do a little bit more here. But again, Cirno with just that really big advantage. It's really going to depend on, again, I think it's really just going to come down to Sharlock. There is potential, I think the way Cirno got to Sharlock, he may have a different path in mind, that he either needs to go through Swamp Cave or head in that direction and then kind of take the northern route or what we saw, as opposed to EMP came at it more from the south directly from home. So again, but that's not a huge amount of time. It's still fairly insignificant.
Yeah, it's not 4,000 experience points worth of time anyways, I think.
No,
it's really got to be bad dives, close levels, something.
The other thing to keep in mind as we're starting to look more toward Dragonlord math, swings versus heal mores, is that with neither of our players having a shield here, even though the agility is fairly decent, up to 82 for Cirno, just 71 defense. So rolls in the low 50s on DL2 are still going to be possible. So you do have to factor that in a little bit. It's not like we have borderline HP, but potentially if we get Death Necklace HP, all of a sudden taking the Death Necklace at like 132 or 133 and going down to like 98 can be a little bit dicey. So something else to factor in or to keep in mind as we start doing some Dragonlord math here.
I almost never think about, can he bite me for more than 48? But you're absolutely right. You have to think about that, especially when you are shieldless.
Yeah, again, it's not super likely to happen, but it's one of those, again, it's a combination of like borderline HP or maybe a bad heal more, and it's like, do you really want to swing at 49 when you can get hit for 52? And I mean, the math says that unless you're way, way ahead on swings versus heal mores, you're probably going to end up swinging because you're probably less than 10% or potentially even less than 5% to die. But yeah.
Anyways, this should be the last red dragon of level 16 for Cirno.
Perfect timing on the resources as well.
No power. We're going for more.
All right, we got a heal more out of it. We're up to 13 heal mores. Sorry, 12 heal mores? No, 13, sorry.
So Cirno's going to get his magic points back. EMP is still on the grind. We're now sitting at about 4,700 experience point difference.
Yeah, all things being equal, it should be pretty stable from this point on. It may fluctuate a little bit up or down depending on the refill timings, but it's looking to be whereabout it's going to be. Now, as we get up a little bit higher here in levels, and the levels get a little bit further apart, need now to get to, 12,000 for Cirno. It's not... If the level is borderline and one goes and the other doesn't, you're getting closer to where that level distance could be about the time it's going to take that would EMP would need to catch up. I think it's still going to require more than that at this point, but again, we've seen Sharlock. Sometimes the game has no thoughts about throwing 10, 12 encounters more for one player than the other, or a handful of more run blocks, so you never know.
EMP picking up his level 14 with the big strength boost. Out of resources, so he just talks to that red dragon to get a refill, and Cirno takes his place. So almost a perfect shift change there. Next level's coming at 12,000 even.
Fairy water math is definitely seemingly going to come into play here. Again, it may depend on exactly what the HP is versus the strength. Does Death Necklace come into play or not? But Fairy Waters, without the flute in hand, and depending on whether or not it's in the cards to use the Death Necklace, theoretically that could be dumped as well. Up to 7 Fairy Waters could be held, since nobody saved the princess either. If you keep the Death Necklace, you're looking at 6. So Fairy Water damage range 9 to 16 versus currently 5 to 10, which is not great for Cirno. So definitely a big advantage there. Cuts down the number of swings pretty significantly. Again, we're just gonna have to see what the numbers pan out to.
Yeah, basically, the way I think of it is a Fairy Water is just ever so slightly better than having 132 attack power. With that top end of 16 damage, it just has a slightly better bottom end. But the folks have definitely worked out the, like, how many swings does it save you based on how many attack powers do you have. And there's whole spreadsheets and stuff out there that exist for that, for sure.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to exactly what the stat profile looks like at 17, or again, potentially more, but we're getting to the point where even a small increase at this point, I mean, potentially, we talked about it earlier, does that fighter's ring come into play? Again, we know that our runners at best think that it's probably about a 60 to 70% chance that it's going to be in the Sharlock Treasury, so you can't bank on it, but it's more likely than not to be there. Could it still be at the bottom of the grave, or can it be in the vanilla sword chest? I don't know if actually, somebody mentioned it earlier, I don't know that we actually did see the rim chest either. So that could be another possibility. So there's places where that could be, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't think we did see the Rimmildar check. So 2.5 red dragons for Cirno. This one plus 2 more. Should get him there.
And he should have no problem getting to that on this fill of the MP, especially with that excellent move. Have we seen any excellent moves in this seed? I feel like we haven't seen any. With all the hurt mores that we've been throwing around, haven't been a lot of reasons to attack things in the first place.
Aw, he got his first crit.
It's a good place and a good enemy to get it.
Alright, so EMP creeping on level 15 as Cirno is creeping on level 17. Both of them 1 dragon away from their respective level targets.
Also, only 1 MP away from an extra heal more on Cirno's side as well, so if level 17 even just gives the 1 MP, that, comes into play as well. In addition to, of course, HP for Death Necklace or doubles, and strength for just raw damage.
Five, 10, 2. Now you're thinking Fairy Water. Now you're thinking, boy, I wish I had that fighter's ring. At 125, fairy water, no fairy waters, right? You're looking at 18 swings on average.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you can get a double or two here at 127, but this is definitely fairy water range. I don't think, especially with the defense, you can sometimes, play to the death necklace and use it when you are going to beat less than 97 post, but with this defense, I don't think that's really a play here. I think it's going to have to be a fairy water run, which it appears he's going to do. Cantlin is fairly close here on the north side of Charlock. I think Breckenary is actually not too far in the other direction, but this will work.
Yeah, Breckenary could have got himself a small shield while he was there too. But here we are. The coastal town of Cantlin.
As we said, he does have the opportunity, if he's not going to use the Death Necklace, which I can't imagine given the stats that he's going to, he has the opportunity to dump that to just get one extra fairy water in the pool. It doesn't make a huge difference in the long run, but if it comes down to that extra 2 to 3 damage at the very end of the fight, on average, it's nice to have it if it's borderline level. And this is, I wouldn't say this is borderline. If you've got 6 or 7 fairy waters, it shouldn't be, but again, you never know what Charlock is going to challenge you with here, so maybe you lose a heal more on the way down, things get a little bit complicated, but he seems to be in a fairly commanding position here. EMP needing to refill and still chasing down level 16, which is definitely, again, it's possible on the very, very low odds front, but really 17 is go.
All right, so Cirno does sell off that death necklace to make more room for fairy waters. Question in chat, where could the fighter's ring be in the overworld? We have seen the Stones Cave, so really it's just Grave 4 or 5 or Rimildar, which makes that 3 checks. So, what, 70% chance of it being in Charlock? Or 7 checks in Charlock, is that right?
Yep, 6 in the treasury and then 1 upstairs. You're probably not going to check for the 1 upstairs, but I mean, if you happen to be downstairs, and even honestly, at this level, at this point, with 7 fairy waters, since he did dump the death necklace there, I don't think you chase that down. Now, again, maybe if you lose some resources on the way down, it becomes more of a consideration, but I think it probably isn't going to be necessary at this point.
All right, so Cirno has all of his stuff. He's making the final couple of turns here, and he's going to pull out his drop, and we're going to see a rainbow bridge.
Charlock entry 106.26 for Cirno. And again, depending on what Charlock has here for him, it seems pretty clear that this is his race at this point. So EMP continuing the grind, he will pick up level 16 here on this red dragon. We'll see what he elects to do. Again, I can't imagine that he's going to be trying at level 16 given the numbers.
I'm not even sure if monsters exist in Charlock.
Apparently not, because we've gone a pretty long way for Cirno with just nothing.
Is he pausing? Is he manipulating this? What is going on here?
Oh, you didn't get the memo? It's a new version of the randomizer. It caps out at like wolves or something. It's just zone 0 on the top zone, then 1, then 2. It's all freebie stuff.
That explains it. There we go. Popping a couple of herbs.
Yeah, the red dragon up there in the top zone, it's pretty fortunate that he walked almost the entirety of that top zone without seeing anything. Was able to get away without having to burn a heal more there, which could have been, again, I wouldn't say catastrophic by any means, but it certainly lowers your odds if you're burning a little bit of resources. Gives you a little bit of pause. Maybe you check the treasury. You have to be a little bit more aggressive on herbs, but still in great shape.
Yep, diamond room is clear. Stone Man. EMP has gotten the news that level 16 is not it, and he is working his way to level 17.
Double block on the Axe Knight for Cirno, gets away, has to use another herb. We still got 3 left. Oh, Stone Men have sleep.
Sleepy Stone Man is not good. Not good at all. He wakes up, and he does get away. He's going to have to use up, like, all of his herbs here. And so now maybe you check that treasury both for a fighter's ring and perhaps some backup herbs.
Yeah, potentially. I thought maybe, again, you don't want to lose a heal more, but if you use a heal more there, you're going to get the full benefit of it just based on how low he was on the resources, as this stone man does not want to let him get away. But fortunately, he does not get put to sleep. He does end up burning the heal more. I was going to say, if you burn the heal more, at least you'll have the incremental healing if you still need it, and it doesn't ruin your odds too badly, but he ended up burning both anyway. Not good.
Yeah, Stone Man, come take away all your herbs, all your magics. Gets through that. I think this is a new zone. Armored Knights. Jerkbird. Wizards.
Not too bad so far. Armor Knight, again, can be a little bit spooky. It's got her stop spell, though, so we know that it's not a huge threat. Cirno does not go to check the treasury.
Alright, so Green Dragon. So I think at this point, the worst thing you can see on the spike would be a Stone Man, right? You gotta pop a stop spell on him.
Yeah, stop spell or sleep. I mean, you certainly can try to just hack through it. We know that, at least based on that last fight, it doesn't necessarily seem like it's the highest percentage because you got away with like 3 attacks on that last one, but you're already down to heal more. You've got no healing. You've got no extra MP, so that if it's a stop spell or a sleep or whatever, it's still burning a heal more. You're probably going to end up burning a heal more after this fight anyway, which takes you down to 12, which is not good. This is he's still in a really good spot. Like, his odds are still very good, but it's a little bit of an awkward spot for the management of resources the rest of the way here.
Yeah, he gets hit with another sleep. Third run gets away, and it's an Armored Knight on the spike. Stop spell's what you want to see it cast.
And he got 2 of them, which is good. So now he'll have the opportunity. Is the heal walk in play? I know everybody hates it. I'm probably the only one who ever does it, and I pay for it every time I do, but you're not going to go in full here. It looks like he's just going to go for it. Again, the odds are still pretty decent even if he burns a heal more here on DL1. He still has opportunities for doubles, so I think he's going to go in here fairly confidently.
Meanwhile, EMP has finished his grind and is now going to go do his setup. Looks like he's walking a different direction, though.
Yeah, EMP, unfortunately, he had to head back to the spike tile. Was 1 red dragon short of 17, but now he has it. So if Cirno fails, EMP should be back in first, but well, let's take a look at the Cirno fight, opening with Fairy Water at 14. And 10 more gets him to 24, is electing to Fairy Water on 49. Gets away with it, 37. He can be hit for 52. $53. And 68. Man, he really threaded the needle between the memes there, didn't he? We can't have any fun. 78.
Where's that 50 bite?
$93. Rolled very well on those fairy waters. A little bit above average. $101. $107. 6 is the minimum. 6 to 12 is the range that we're looking at now. $114. Run out of gas here a little bit. 121. Oh boy, 128. 138 on the double, which is fantastic. He really kind of needed that. I mean, he didn't need it, but it certainly helps. And if I counted correctly, that is 150, a min roll DL2, unless I missed a swing in there somewhere, but dang, he definitely didn't need it. GG to Cirno. Get your GGs in chat. He is going to be tonight's Game 3 winner. Going to take the series against EMP and advance to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, nice, well fought. He had that really good hero walk on the top floor. Stone Man tried to stop him, but it didn't. And yeah, he got his Dragon Lord down. EMP getting his last fairy water set up. We'll see if he finishes out the seed. Looks like he's still shopping, so all looks good so far.
We'll see if we get Cirno in for an interview. And a lot of times he joins us in chat. That would be acceptable as well. Official time, 1:14:32.
Not bad at all when you have to go to level 17. And now EMP will get his Rainbow Drop dropped and his Rainbow Bridge bridged.
He made the same play that Cirno did, dumped the Death Necklace in favor of an additional Fairy Water. It makes the most sense. You're not going to Death Necklace at 127 with 72 defense. So we'll see what else did we miss here in this top zone that Cirno just walked through without actually seeing anything. Blue dragons were apparently here. We did see a golem. You know there are red dragons about as well. Let's repel wear off. Nothing repelled at 72 defense.
There's Mr. Red.
Just a quick bite for 40. Just a little love tap on the way out.
Yeah, what do you tell us how you really feel about those Stone Men, Cirno. And good game, congratulations.
Now, EMP got through zone 1 here in Charlotte actually pretty unscathed as well. I think he only had, what, 3 encounters? So both of our runners got through pretty quickly, but he does discover red dragons, which I don't think we saw on Cirno's side here in the middle zone. So we did see the Stone Men here. I think Stone Men are in the bottom zone as well, so we'll see how the rest of this zone goes for EMP. Again, 84 agility, pretty good odds to not get ambushed and to run successfully, but sometimes the game has no care for statistics, probability, and odds.
Right, EMP is making pretty good time through this Charlock dive. None of the monsters are holding them up yet. Of course, we haven't quite gotten to the Stone Man floor, which I believe we are at now. He's in the U room. Jerkbird blocks the way.
But now that we have Cirno in chat as well, feel free if you want to give us a little bit of your thoughts on, I guess, how this seed proceeded really from the beginning. I mean, obviously we know about the end, but starting off with 19 strength at level 1, immediate hurt more at level 2. Just your approach to the seed, your thoughts, how you thought perhaps you were doing by comparison, and just your general feeling on securing the win in tonight's race.
All right, EMP gets hit with the sleep by the wizard, so it's just going to cast hurt a bunch of times. It's just not fun to sit there and wait to wake up, you know?
No, it's, again, mostly time waste at this point. I mean, we're not defense-breaking wizards. A lot of times you are, even with the large shield would be in this case, but there were no large shields anywhere. But with hurt, yeah, it's just... really?
Yeah, it's like being stuck in the mud. Yeah, there's another sleep.
Being stuck in the mud. Another wizard, another sleep. Got away from the stone man on the first attempt on the previous step, but we have another step and another stone man that he's easily able to get away from.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather be slept by the wizards than the stone man, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No question.
Sounds like Cirno felt pretty good about the early game grind. Felt the swamp under start was probably the best place for the first few levels after they got hurt more. I think EMP came to that same conclusion. A little worried when he found armor 30 minutes in. The sword early was nice, but not the most important thing because of the early hurt more seed. And yeah, you did pick up that armor much sooner than EMP did. EMP didn't go back for it. He found Hawksness first, didn't have resources to do it, and then I think he had set up a gold grind and wasn't able to find Silver Shield, and so he just didn't go back until, you know, he got killed a couple times and lost his Silver Shield money.
Well, EMP has decided to accept the Dragon Lord's offer. We'll take a DNF. I would say a valiant effort. Again, perhaps that gold grind just leading to a false sense of really wanting that Silver Shield. And unfortunately, that seemed to be his undoing. A very close race all the way throughout. I think a lot of this seed, it very much seemed like Cirno was, again, literally a couple of steps ahead. Again, maybe a very small XP advantage. Literally exploring an area 30, 40 seconds ahead, but very much the same pathing, at least up until the Hawksness find for EMP, and just wasn't able to take down that Armored Knight and just didn't go back. Unfortunately, I guess found. Did he grind out of the grave? I think he did his grind out of the grave, and then just held on to that money for way too long.
And we've got EMP in here, actually. Hello, EMP.
Hello, GG.
Absolutely, and good game to you. I'm always, you know, it's sad, but always excited to see people accept the Dragon Lord's offer. I think that really deep red, we don't get to see it enough, so I really appreciate going in to see that end, but it is the end of the road for you. It was really well raced. I think you heard at the tail end, the gold grind, I think, kind of got you. What were your thoughts on the seed going through this, EMP?
I was pretty annoyed when I found the armor because I lost the race in pretty similar way to how I lost game 2, where I almost found the sword and then died to a Sharlock enemy.
Yeah, and in this case, I think you had set up the gold grind, right? And that's what kept you from going back to Hawksness sooner? Is that basically what happened there?
Yeah, and the enemies around there, every time I got close, I ended up hurt-mooring things because it was just too good to pass up.
Yeah, that was actually the MP, the early MP, right? With an early Hurtmore seed, and that's your main weapon. It's easy to run out of it pretty quickly too, especially when towns are like nowhere to be found.
Yeah. Was there a large shield in Breckenary? Did we find that out? Because I got there with no shield whatsoever.
There was silver shields in Cantlin, and there was a small shield in Breckenary. Otherwise, there were no shields in this seed.
It's kind of funny. Both of you, actually, I think EMP, you did not actually check the Breckenary shop, but Cirno decided not to buy it. Saw it, but didn't buy it. So neither of you finished with a shield in this one. So big bites on DL2 possible. I think we did see 150 on Cirno's side, but fortunately the resources were such that it wasn't a super borderline level, so you didn't really need to risk any crazy like 48, 49, 50, 51 swings on DL2.
Yeah, the attack power did seem a little bit low, but I also wasted a lot of time on just minor things like buying some things other than wings.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that as well. The late return and just where things were on the map. Both of you had to wing around a couple of times in various points. I think that the ones that were found, since Cirno did not do a dedicated grind for a speculative everything, I think the only grind was a small one just for the full plate, which was available in coal because he saw coal first, whereas you hadn't seen any towns, or, well, healing towns, places that you could buy stuff. he knew that the full play was there, but didn't have any knowledge of and didn't end up going for Silver Shield. So again, I really do think that that was kind of the point where you started to see that XP gap start to open up a little bit, doing more winging back and forth, resaving, not fighting as many things, and that gave Cirno the opportunity to open up a tiny bit of that XP gap, and then ultimately to get to those locations a little bit faster. It's really funny. You guys both explored in almost the exact same order the entire seed. It was pretty remarkable. Even the only time that was really any divergence was, I think, EMP, you discovered like Sharlock and then eventually up toward, I believe, where Cantlin and such were from the bottom, and then you went across the bridge to the north. And Cirno did the opposite, where he came from the north side and then came across the bridge to the south. So it was pretty remarkable, but I think that was really kind of the transition moment where trying to hold on to that goal just didn't quite work out the way that it needed to for you.
Yeah, if I'd gone left instead of up at that corner, I'd probably get the Silver Shield and we end up taking that Red Dragon grind a bit faster.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, is that if you don't go across the bridge there, you're able to get to those locations, including to Garenham, which at that point Cirno hadn't found yet, and you would have gotten your staff traded. So you would have, again, by a narrow margin, you would have had a little bit of an XP gap, but you would have been able to get that Silver Shield, which again, maybe that translates to a little bit of an advantage there, but you would have been able to get your or into Grind and Go a tiny bit faster with a little bit of time to perhaps make up the gap that it opened up, but it is what it is. Rando map is going to do what rando map does, and sometimes we go the right way and sometimes we don't. Unfortunately, today, just not quite the set of circumstances that were conducive to securing a win in this one.
Still, I made the goal I wanted to. I made it to the brackets.
And we're very glad that you did. Again, very, very big parity in this year's summer tournament. Lots of the groups were very competitive, pretty much top to bottom, which is awesome. EMP, glad that you were able to make the brackets and won game one. I mean, there was certainly the opportunity there. It's not like it was an easy sweep for Cirno. Cirno had to dig and claw and really fight it out. So definitely put a strong performance in, not only in the groups, but also in the bracket match here against Cirno.
Again, GG's to Cirno, and thanks for putting the summer tournament on for everybody.
Absolutely. We've got just a few more matches. There's going to be of this round before we move on to the next phase of the bracket round. So check those out this weekend. I know that we've got two that are scheduled for broadcasts at 10 or 1, depending on where you're at. I think it's 1 Eastern. For both Saturday and Sunday. So we know we've got some early races. There will probably be races in the afternoon, as well as a couple on the red slime zone. So keep your eye open for those over on the Discords, where you can see where those calendars are. Otherwise, Diabetes, any other last words before we let our runners go?
I don't think so. Again, this is a very exciting one to watch. Again, lots of back and forthing. Congrats again to Cirno, who will be advancing out of the coal group, best group. May or may not be the group that I was in, but regardless. So GG to Cirno on advancing to the Sweet 16. For EMP, this is the end of the line, but again, fantastic performance throughout the groups and in the matchup here against Cirno. Glad to have had you here, and thanks for putting on a fantastic show.
Awesome. I am not sure if we have a raid target or not. If we do not, then I will just say I'm Velu V. Thanks for popping in and checking out the show. Diabetes the Second has joined me in the commentary booth, taking care of the tracking tonight. We had Shihali, and who else was tracking? Was it just Shihali today? And then Shihali, and then Tanuki Monster doing our restream. We had so many people coming in and out to volunteer today. I'm not sure who's doing what today. So yeah, good job Tanuki Monster, Shihali, for putting on the show. We will have more Dragon Warrior Randomizer for you coming up in the next days. Have a great night, everybody.